Welcome to The Localist, a conversation with local makers and independent entrepreneurs. I'm your host, author of the Localist book and former small business owner, Carrie Rollwagen. Our guest today is Michael Sellers. So if you're in the Birmingham area, you may know Michael from Good People Brewing, or you may know him from Avondale Brewery. But there is big news, like a lot of news, coming from the same people who started Good People and who purchased Avondale a few years ago. So we talk about three main things. The first is that Michael and his partners are bringing back Ghost Train. So if you're a fan of Ghost Train's beers, then this is great news for you because some of their most popular beers are coming back. We also talk about Porch, which is a new brand that is launching with a light lager. It's kind of designed to be enjoyed like at the beach or at the lake or just whenever you're chilling. And there's more coming in that space too, like seltzers and canned cocktails and all kinds of stuff. We also talk about the All Good Collective. So you may remember when Ghost Train moved from 3rd Avenue down to the Hugh Call Trail. So that is the space that is now All Good Collective. So All Good Collective is going to be kind of an oasis on the trail where you can stop by and get a beer. You can stop and get eventually like a hard seltzer or a cocktail or maybe even something non-alcoholic like kombucha. And you can eat at their kitchen, Trail Magic. So I'm so excited about this space. There's so much to talk about today. And I really appreciate Michael taking time from his schedule of doing all of these things to come on and tell us about it. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm a huge fan of all of your products, but you hear that a lot. So I actually want to talk about what you have going on that's new.
Right.
So tell me about Ghost Train.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people love the brand, then it was gone, and I want to make a joke about bringing a ghost back, but
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
I think I'm stretching. I don't think it really works.
No, what we've done is purchased that area, that building.
So this is the newer one, the one on the trail, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, the one on the trail.
Yeah.
3501 First Avenue South.
Okay, yeah.
And so what we are doing and plan to do is kind of, along with other things, one is bringing back the Ghost Train brand, so you'll see it out in the market again. And we'll bring back their core items that were super popular with everyone.
Yeah.
Some of that's just, that brand was held in such high regard. You hate for it to kind of go fade away if you have the opportunity to hopefully not let that happen. So that's the plan, is to nurture that brand again, get it back into the market, and give it back to the people who enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then obviously try to grow it and do the best we can with that. So, and then that fits into a kind of a larger plan of using that facility to add to the portfolio, but also kind of expand potentially into other categories of products. So whether that is, the alcohol-based products or even non-alc-based products, water, whatever those are, but maybe broaden the scope of what we're doing to more of a beverage industry situation than into a silo of just beer or whatever that is. So that's kind of the plan. That's the scope, I guess.
Which is nice because it's like when you're going somewhere with a group of people, a lot of times some people are beer drinkers, some people are not, some people are sober, some people, knowing, I know a lot of times, like, I love beer, but I can't drink as much as I would love to.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people age out. Like you start aging out of the consumption level you used to able to do.
So I know I like going somewhere that's like I can have one beer and then I can switch to something else. And it's not gonna just be water or look boring, I guess. I don't know if I'm probably not supposed to care about how it looks, but it is nice. So are you thinking that space will kind of be a home? Like, so are you envisioning that will sell Ghost Train and Good People?
Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the new facility is All Good. There's two things. There's All Good Beverage Company, which is the manufacturing side, and then there's All Good Collective. And that collective name is really just to encompass everything we're trying to do there. So that would be Good People, Avondale, Ghost Train, a new brand called Porch. There may be other brands that we contract for that will also be represented inside the collective. But that'll also mean other things, non-alcoholic products, things that we don't make in the non-alcoholic space. So there may be kombucha, there may be other things that people can participate in that, maybe you don't want an alcoholic beverage. And so, we want to have it for everyone there. But also, it's a bit of a oasis on the trail too, you know. So if you got through running and you just want to come in and get water, get a water and hang out with your friends or whatever and hydrate, that's perfectly good as well. So,
Well, I'm excited about that reopening because you can actually walk there from our office.
Absolutely.
Nice, so.
Absolutely. Well, and it's a great halfway point between Good People, Ghost Train, Avondale, but you also have Cabo that it ends, it terminates at. So, I mean, you can make a whole day.
It's like a
trail.
Pub crawl, but
absolutely.
You're actually walking the trail.
Absolutely. And every one of those venues brings things to the table, right? There's nothing, even though, Good People is a brewery. We're hoping that Ghost Train is more than, or what we're calling Ghost Train, the All Good Collective is more than that. It's kind of a like I say, oasis on the trail. And you got Avondale, it's a venue, you got a big backyard with things to do with the kids and whatnot. So, like I say, hopefully people can make a whole day of the trail and participate in whatever's going on down there.
Well, I think that's exciting. And the All Good Collective, I mean, I think obviously there's a Good People connection, which is neat, but it just sounds like it's a good name for a community space anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I hope that works.
Like, it's cool that you can, I mean, if you know, okay, there are all these brands and they're under one roof and then there are other, like, if you know the backstory, great. But if you don't, I feel like seeing All Good Collective, it's not, it still communicates what it is.
Sure,
that makes
absolutely.
Sense. You don't have to know all the details.
Right. And we're kind of building a space that's built around, it is built around beverage, but it's, it's open for anyone. So, it's really more of a gathering spot. That kind of reaches out to everybody.
Well, and I feel like that's kind of what that area was, like when Ghost Train was there too. So I think, tell me if this is kind of I think one of the misperceptions maybe about small business, and you guys are like a bigger small business, but is that we see other businesses as like direct, like as competition.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe that is accurate or maybe not. It seems like maybe not, because you had Good People, and it could be a temptation to be like, well, if you're not drinking Good People, then that's a problem.
Sure.
But it seems like maybe that's not the case, since like now you guys own Avondale, you own Ghost Train. Like, it's like you're kind of, were you fans of those before you bought them? Or were you just interested in what they were doing? Or was it purely financial and you're just like...
Well, no, I think competition is always a part of it. Like you would not be in the business if you were somewhat competitive. So I do think that's it. And I do think you enjoy seeing people's craft and doing it well. And you do find things that some people do interesting. So you do kind of keep an eye on everything that's going on there. But, like craft beer, it reaches sometimes, we love things to death. And so, you get concerned about oversaturation. And even if you're putting out a great product, you're doing great things, when you start dividing that pie up, it's no longer financially viable. And at the end of the day, it is all financially. The issue is a financial issue. You can be the hobbyist as much as you want, but at some point, you have to look at the financial health, or it won't be there.
Well, I mean, you can, if you're a hobbyist, it's almost going to stay a hobby. You can't have an oasis on a trail that is a really nice building that costs money and have people employed and still run it like a hobbyist. Right.
No, absolutely.
Which is, I feel like it's such a change for you guys, though, because when you started, it was almost fighting to even get, when you started Good People, it was, I mean, kind of I don't know, famously, but in the news about like even fighting to be able to legally distribute. And now it's like grown so much. So I feel like does that feel like a shift, or did it happen so slowly where you were like fighting to get to market at all, and now you're kind of like, okay, we have to diversify, we have to look at the financials?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning we were trying to. It's not really that much different. You're trying to carve out a market for yourself, in the early days. But a lot of that went with deregulation, which really helped. And I will say, if we hadn't had deregulation back then, and we didn't have tap rooms and things like that, probably none of us would be in business, because the margin side, or the distribution side margin, is slim, and it's tough work, and it's you've got mandated third parties involved, and it's hard for the supplier to do it. We are a part of a franchise law, which is a whole thing, and so it's a little more on the difficult side. So if we hadn't had deregulation in other areas, it would have been difficult for us to continue on. Now we're with that deregulation, though, comes more people into the market, which then saturates the market, and then you have another pressure. And so you have to manage that as well. And now we're into a phase where alcohol, spirits, beer, wine, they're all going through a bit of a contraction. A lot of enthusiasts, or like when I say aging out of the volume that they were involved with, and then newer entries in the market are influenced by other intoxicants, famously the Delta 9 thing that's going on now, or other things. So you get more competitors, just not saturation in one market, but now you have other competitors coming in on the side. So, so then that forces you into, okay, well, we have a skill set, we have a core competency of making beverages, distribution. How can we leverage that maybe into a broader scope of what we're doing, again, for financial health and for the health of the business? Sense. So, I mean, that's kind of how the circle of it happens.
And I don't know if this is happening in Birmingham so much, but it seems like different generations are not drinking alcohol the same way. So, like, you have some generations aging out of their tolerance. And then the other side, everything I keep reading say that Gen Z is not, like, I heard a story this morning saying, like, they're not even opening tabs anymore because they don't drink enough to open a tab. So it seems like the diversification of what you offer is super important for that.
I think so. That's the bet we're saying is we're going to have to diversify out of one category and into multiple categories. And some of this is meeting people where they are too, right? Like, NA beers have become a popular thing, and that's probably because you had people who enjoy that category. Now you get the category without some of the other side effects of it. So, that's a category that can be explored. On the other side of things, you see things like Prime or these energy drinks that the younger generations enjoy. I mean, so you kind of have to look and find out where markets may start to emerge.
Is that exciting or exhausting or both? Like,
I mean, I think it's exciting to a certain degree, but there's obviously risk involved, and it's a little scary. You're always kind of betting on the come, right? Hopefully this is we're doing the right thing. So, so there's risk involved, which as you get older, you get less. You're more and more risk adverse than you were when you were younger. But it is what it is. I mean, again, you just have to lean into your core competency and go, well, this is what we know how to do. So we should probably exploit that.
So is the core competency more brewing, or also just that distribution in the business side?
I think it's both. Well, when you say brewing, really it's brewing or it's manufacturing beverages. Then packaging beverages is another aspect of that. And then we have the sales side, which is distributions. It's relationships with chains and things of that nature, which we have. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we've gone into other spaces within this market, but at least there's some level of understanding of what has to happen. So, so we'll try to use that understanding and move in those areas.
So is that easier in a way than it was when you were first starting?
I think at least you know some of the lingo, right? At least you understand the pitfalls. In a lot of ways, starting in the alcohol industry, it's so regulated that
Mm-hmm.
that the other categories seem almost like this can't be real.
Yeah.
It's that easy. You
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
do what?
Yeah.
You don't have to do all this stuff. You're
Yeah.
like, no, you don't have to do any of it.
Yeah.
So but I will say that also makes that market a lot more saturated.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of the barriers to entry
Yeah.
are a lot
Yeah.
lower. So
Like I was watching an interview with the guy that started, gosh, the name's escaping me. The water that's like hardcore water.
Liquid Death.
Yeah. And his first business was like a brandy business that
Yeah.
totally failed. And he was just like so excited about water because it's like there are no regulations
Yeah.
basically. Like, he's
Absolutely.
like, anyone can
It's-
drink it.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it does seem like navigating through all that red tape at least like makes you realize you guys are like, we can navigate through the red tape. At least we know that.
Right.
you know?
And there's less red tape. So
Yeah.
it's, to a certain degree, it's, something there's no governor on it.
Yeah.
So you also got to make sure you don't get ahead of your, your
Yeah,
skis either. Right.
Yeah.
So you have to there's a balance of being too aggressive but not being aggressive enough, I think. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right, so as far as Ghost Train, because we've basically opened like several cans of worms. Which
Sure.
is good, right?
And there's a lot of cans of worms that are being opened, actually.
So Ghost Train, was that more like were you fans of the beer first and then saw it? Did it come up for sale or did you approach them or
Yeah,
how does that work?
they did their thing.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah.
not a part of any of that. And to a certain degree, we really like the space for
Mm-hmm.
what we wanted to implement. We do appreciate that brand and really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah.
And that's why we want to bring it back.
Yeah.
But it kind of came along with that.
Okay,
with
yeah.
that bigger plan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of a larger plan there that would allow us to do multiple things,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those multiple things was to bring back the Ghost Train brand.
Yeah,
So,
okay, cool.
Again, really appreciate that brand and think
Mm-hmm.
it's a great brand and has a lot of equity, and we need to make sure it gets back into the market. And again, core competency, and so we hope we can help that brand grow.
Yeah.
But again, it was part of a bigger
Yeah.
hey, we need to think in longer terms of not only this category, but what other categories
Yeah.
potentially are out there for us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that is. Yeah.
So did you buy like recipes from them or how do you know? that?
I mean, not necessarily. I think
Is that
there'll
even
be
what
there'll be
it's
people
called?
that had worked there before
Yeah,
that'll
yeah.
help in that
Okay.
scenario.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there'll be aspects of that that'll be
Yeah.
around.
Do
So
you know-
yeah, it
are
really
you-
was just IP
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you'll give the brand a refresh, or is it going to be like the
Yeah, I
same
think
as-
so.
yeah.
I mean, initially maybe it will come out as it was, but I think it'll get a refresh. But
Yeah.
I kind of think, I mean, unless you're a classic brand like Coke, and even they
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
tweaks. I mean,
Yeah.
Pepsi gets tweaks.
Yeah.
I think it's important to refresh and
Yeah.
kind of keep people interested.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially now, people's we are all guilty of our our attention span goes
Yeah.
pretty quick. So
Yeah.
it's always something to kind of tweak things. And
Yeah,
keep your
absolutely.
brand interesting.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I think that you guys have really great branding across the board, and so that's kind of why I asked. It seems like you approach it like that's an important part of the business.
I think it's a huge part of the business. I think branding is a real big piece of the business. You have to have quality product, but I think quality product at this point is just a given.
Yeah.
And so at some point you're just trying to catch eyes and
Yeah.
see if people will give you a shot.
Yeah.
So
So is that mostly the logo and the colors and the branding that way? Is it advertising? Is it like branding the actual brewery, the space, or is it like all of those things?
I think it's the brand mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you'll see us more. Craft beer came up in a time where there wasn't a lot of need to advertise because it was such a popular thing
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that wane. So we're all having to shift gears and go, oh, what? How do you market
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things? Used to it was you just put it out and people
Yeah.
gravitate towards it,
Yeah.
and now we're having to make sure. And two, you have a lot of branding companies that are just marketing a product.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're professional marketers.
Right. Yeah.
So
Even Liquid Death was started by a marketer
Yeah, by a
who was
marketer.
looking for a product,
So
not the other way around.
you kind of have a little bit of a disadvantage
Yeah.
as you're coming from a market
Yeah.
where it wasn't necessarily heavily marketed.
Yeah.
And now you're coming up against people who really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Even
Well, 'cause
even though you
also-
know how to make
yeah.
the product, they don't, but they know how to market it, right? So
I think it attracts marketers too because you can have more fun with it.
yeah,
Like more than, if you're selling like dish detergent or something,
Yeah.
like you can't really be subversive, so it's not
Sure.
fun for marketing
Right.
companies.
absolutely.
But I think like marketing a craft beer is just
Yeah.
something that attracts marketing
Yeah.
people because it's fun to do.
Yeah, and look, those marketers can go out and raise a ton of money too
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they know how to make
Yeah.
it look like it's the best thing ever.
Exactly, yeah.
So, just coming as like humble,
Yeah.
manufacturers or suppliers, you kind of
Yeah.
a little bit having to work with that a little bit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're bringing back Ghost Train, but you kind of did a sort of similar thing with Avondale. So are there things that you learned when you guys bought Avondale about we're going to keep this, we're going to change this a little bit? Do you feel like you've been through this before, or like this is going to be
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think Avondale, we can lean on that a little bit. But I think the big takeaway at Avondale, too, was you had this huge space that had to work and had to generate revenue. And the previous guys before us, they had already kind of started dabbling into that music space.
Yeah.
And the property just kind of spoke to it, said, hey, you got to do this.
Yeah,
And then it became such a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It kind of became the lead thing.
Yeah.
So, and one thing we'll do is just kind of let the market lead us
Right,
a little
yeah.
bit. Say, hey, this is what it's obvious you need to be a venue.
Yeah.
You can still have your brand, but on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
Avondale needs to be and look, the core competency at Avondale is events, venue, and Good People is manufacturing. And I think you'll see that space, the All Good Collective, is a morph between the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it sounds like you're doing in a similar way with All Good Collective, in that you're responding to the fact that it's on the trail and
Sure.
how people were using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that seems to be the case with Avondale. You're like, this is obviously a venue. Let's learn to have a venue.
Yeah.
And All Good, it's like, this is obviously kind of a respite on the trail.
Yeah.
So let's lean into that.
But it also has a space to be a bigger manufacturer facility too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
If Good People is naturally more manufacturing and Avondale is more venue based, then All Good Collective becomes the meeting point in between the two.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
So that'll be a aspect of it, right? You'll get both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there more build out that you need to do to make it more of a manufacturing space? Is that already there?
Yeah. Well, much like, if you come to Avondale every year, we're constantly in construction, and I'm sure this will be no different.
Yeah.
Like, some of it's just funding. Like you gotta be able to afford to do it. So we're big into like projects, smaller projects at a time. So you'll see it more. Like it's whatever you see today will not be what it'll be in next year. Like,
Well, I mean, that, first of all, I think it's practical because, you can raise the funds, do a little something, and then change it. But it's also good because then you're responding to what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And you're able to pivot if you're like, we thought it was going to go this direction, and it's really leaning more another direction. You can actually change it so it responds to what customers want it to be.
No, absolutely.
Whereas if you go in, and I think this is what happens a lot of time with money from out of town, they go in and change a space completely without really understanding
this
the market.
Is what it is.
Yeah, and maybe it works in other markets, but it doesn't really seem to work here.
Yeah.
So I think that makes practical sense too, and that you can evolve.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, Birmingham, to a certain extent, we are encapsulated. We don't have a lot of people coming. We're not Nashville or Atlanta.
Yeah.
So we're always having to. Our consumer is the same consumer we've had for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you do need to change. Whereas in Nashville, I don't know what I've heard crazy numbers, but on a weekend they'll get 50,000 new consumers.
Yeah.
So it's that place is new to those people, and then
All
they
the
leave,
people in
and then
the
somebody else comes.
Airbnbs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just don't have 50,000 people a weekend coming in and going, oh, this is a great place.
Yeah.
So we are having to, update, refine, for the same. We're using our consumers the same person. So
Yeah.
you do want to make it interesting to them on a certain level.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully that's correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, that seems to have happened at Good People. Like, that's evolved and changed through the years, the brewery as well as the product, and at Avondale.
Yeah.
So it would stand to reason the same thing would happen at All Good Collective.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's kind of in our DNA a little bit too.
Yeah.
We're always doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to switch cans of worms right now. So let's talk about Porch, because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Tell us what is Porch and kind of what's the concept of what it will be.
So Porch is a line, I like to call it lifestyle lagers or whatever. It's they're light lagers that are meant to fit in people's lifestyles, and Porch is that. Porch is a light lager that it's kind of it has a vibe, and it has an outdoor, and it's meant for specific occasions. But Porch is unique in that it's going to explore different categories as well. Okay. So you'll have a beer category, you'll have a hard seltzer category, and we're also going to have canned cocktails as well. So you're going to have all three. So it kind of fits a flavor profile for that consumer in one brand. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
so you'll have little different visitors to the Porch.
Yeah, and each one of those brands is actually marketed differently and goes to market differently. Because beer would go through wholesalers, hard seltzers currently, under our current laws will go through the ABC, and so will the cocktails. So they won't all be in the grocery. Beer will, but hard seltzer and cocktail will go through the states. Yeah. Unless in different states, obviously it'll go to market in different ways. But so that's a little more of a complexity that we'll be looking at in that product.
So is that a law that are we trying to change that law, or is that good, or are we just going to see what happens?
I mean, there's so much going on, but it was a bill this year which would have allowed for certain spirit-based products to go into grocery stores based on their ABV or the alcohol content, and that didn't pass this year. I think it maybe had a lot of the oxygen in the room was sucked out by the Delta 9 thing. So that didn't make it through. But maybe next year it does. I don't know. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and go to market in our current regulation area.
So is that going to all be under Porch? So all those, like the cocktails and the seltzers and the light lagers will be under the Porch brand?
Porch brand, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if the law changed next year, and this is maybe me just misunderstanding distribution.
Sure.
But if you have a contract with a grocery store for distribution because you had the lager, would then it be easier to get the seltzer into the grocery store?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, depending on how well the lager did, right? I mean, it's all based on numbers. I mean, potentially there will be familiarity with that brand. And if you've built decent brand equity in one brand, I think you'll get a shot at the other. So, there's that piece. I mean, Bud Light did it with Bud Light Seltzer. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen it done before. Maybe not to this extent, but it has been done in the past. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So talk a little about Porch's branding, because I think is it there's a lawn chair and it's like a lake?
Yeah, it's a launch. It's just kind of that, sitting on your porch with your neighbors, sitting on your dock, sitting at the beach. It's that lawn chair just is the iconic view of work's done.
You can't drink snake handlers all day.
No, exactly right. And this chair just kind of represents the day you're relaxed. It's a relaxing time. It's a time. It's a social aspect of it also. But that's kind of the branding, and we like I say, it's a lifestyle lager. You want it where you're where the good parts of life happen, right?
Yeah. So is there the lager, was developing that different than the other beers, or did you look at beers that worked well with Good People or Avondale?
I mean, look, I think our production people have a great talent and a ton of a ton of tools available to them. We have a big lab at Good People, so they can kind of do anything. And that was just something that we felt like fit that brand, that vibe. So, and look, there'll be other products that come out that do meet different niches, or different areas that we want to kind of see what happens in. So,
Well, tell me about developing like a seltzer. Is that how is that different, or are you looking at when you look at brand like flavor profiles? It sounds like it's kind of about like familiarity and just chilling and something that you like a really like a go-to.
Yeah.
Is it more that, or is it more like we're gonna try crazy things?
No, I think I think like most everything, you just kind of do what you think you like.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make broccoli seltzer or whatever. So it's, we just kind of look at things that we think are delicious or are good, and are things that are, culturally appropriate in our area that we know. Like, we always say, hey, look, we kind of understand the Southeastern Conference. Because everybody's obsessed with it here. And we all have been since birth. So we just kind of look in that area for what we want to do, right? So, we're not trying to pretend like we're something that we're not. So that's kind of where we go. We just kind of look around us and, where we are, I mean, we don't have one, but I mean, like, there are drinks that are native to our area. You got bushwhackers on the coast or whatever. I mean, so you just kind of look in those areas and say, hey, what's the derivative of that product? What's the derivative of that product?
Well, I think that, like, in a weird way, it also saves you money on the marketing side.
Sure.
Because it's like, if you're being authentic to what you actually like and who you actually are, it still takes marketing. It still takes branding. That stuff is still important. But you're not trying to do, like, a 180.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, authenticity is like a kind of ridiculous word at this point, probably. But I think that it is true that people they do connect with that more.
Sure.
Because we've all been so saturated with like brand messaging, you know? So I think it does come through when it's like, we just like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We weren't trying to be cool, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It's just what we know.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it probably also has a little bit more chance of working than if you're gonna try like 5 really weird trend forward flavors and like maybe 2 of them hit and 3 of them totally fail,
Well, I mean, too, if you look around, you do somehow get to circumvent the trend, right? Because trends are expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you get to market, it might be done.
Yeah.
But if you look at things that have been around, that formed the culture that you're in, chances are they're going to be around.
Yeah, exactly.
They may not have all the flash and splash that the trend does, but they're going to slowly, continue to crank along. For sure.
So when you're looking at seltzers or canned cocktails, like, are you doing a little, we need to do research, we're going to try all these drinks again that we're familiar with? Or are you kind of just looking at, like, no, these are the things we know we want to...
Yeah, I think so. I think you go and see, and then you have to put your twist on it. You also have to get it ready for market. I mean, obviously, if you mix something up at a bar, you're not going to can that and then it's going to go sit on the shelf. So you have to get it. You have to get it. Market ready, or So there's some things that have to change in there. So that's part of the process. Is moving it from a viable product in a package that can sit on the shelf for however long it's going to sit. So hopefully not long, but but it is a totally different world. Right.
It's
the scalability of going from, grandma's cookies to
exactly.
the cookies packaged in a grocery store.
Which even in the small, like even running Church Street, even the difference between this amount, like we're making 12 cookies or we're making like 2,000 breakup cookies is completely different.
Right.
And we're not even packaging them.
Yeah.
When you take something like a cocktail that is generally like the recipe is something that's usually made in front of you and super fresh, and then how do you translate that into something that it's
and the
still
tolerance
eats?
on each one of those drinks are wildly off.
Oh yeah.
Depending on who's making
Yeah,
it
that's
and,
true, yeah.
and what they have,
Yeah.
and and so
Yeah.
there's not there's a wild tolerance on a handmade product than something that's got to have consistency.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
from not only from a taste profile but from a regulatory standpoint.
Yeah.
It can't be this percent this time and
Oh,
this
yeah.
percent that time. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So can you talk about some of the flavors or drinks that have inspired the seltzers and cocktails? Or
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the cocktail world, we'll have Azalea, a cocktail called Azalea, and then also a take on what we think is the Yellow Hammer.
Yeah.
So those would be the first two.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then we'll move on from there. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's
absolutely.
exciting. And yes, it sounds very Southern, very like.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
already accessible because you kind of get it. So,
yeah, absolutely. That's what we know.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's easier to try something too, and you're like, I get the gist of what I'm about to order.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you experimented? Like, are people tasting them at the breweries? Are you serving?
Yeah, we
them,
typically
or?
just taste internally
Mm-hmm.
and get people's feedback on what they like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty good profile. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, I mean, I don't know how many employees, but say 50 or 60 people that we can pull from and get their feedback on. So we got a good little market segment there.
Yeah.
And people are different all throughout it. So
Yeah. Well, do we have any idea of timeline, or is it like, are we going to see these this summer? Is it more like next summer?
Yeah.
Okay,
We
cool.
should start seeing them now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, awesome.
you'll start seeing them. If you haven't seen them, you'll see them shortly for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So it should be coming out.
Yeah. So at All Good Collective,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll start to see these. Are the seltzers and the cocktails, will everything be canned? Well, I mean, probably you'll have beers on tap, but will you have those things on tap too, or do you know yet?
Yeah, we'll have some of those on tap, but
Yeah.
everything's more can based,
Yeah,
because we'll be putting that product out, so we'll want people to sample that there. But
Yeah.
we will have more of a a small batch feel to some of that in the collective as well. Yeah.
Are you looking at anything non-alcoholic yet, or are you kind of like, is that?
Yeah,
on
we're
the
exploring
agenda?
stuff right now. We don't have enough to kind of say where we are,
Yeah.
but for sure that's something we want to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about, is it going to be like food truck food, or do you
No,
know,
actually,
like,
there's kitchen in there.
Okay.
We call it Trail Magic, and it's
Oh, cool.
sandwiches and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Awesome.
there's a little kitchen in there that we can we can cook out. We can put out a good amount of food. So
will it be geared toward grab stuff like while you're on the trail and kind of like?
Yeah, you can
that's
come
the-
grab it, sit in, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be and that's kind of one of the aspects that, there's a bit of an oasis part of that, because I'm trying to think, I mean, obviously you're on the trail, but the first food place you have is, I'm thinking Hero or somewhere down across from the park.
Yeah.
And then at Avondale, Miracle Pizza down there, which, we're kind of involved in that. So,
Yeah. How are you guys involved in Miracle?
It's the kitchen for Avondale. So,
Okay.
it's Avondale's kitchen. So, we just branded it to have another brand, but it's doing good.
Somehow I missed that, but so is that work? So that's kind of why Trail Magic is also branded differently than All Good.
Yeah.
Because you have like Miracle and
I mean,
Avondale,
look, we just I've always kind of thought, if you have an opportunity to brand something separately, it's just a chance to build brand equity in things.
Yeah.
So.
So how does that branding process go? Is it the same group that gets together? Do you bring in different designers?
Yeah, we all kind of kick around ideas and thoughts
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
And get people's input.
And generally, and this may change, but is naming and things like that, is that something you typically hire somebody for? Is that something we just brainstorm?
We just kind of brainstorm on it, I mean, again, we have so many people.
Yeah.
That
well, and then it
somebody's got a
feels
good
more.
idea.
Yeah. Well, I feel like then, I mean, there are great reasons to use naming companies too. So there's nothing wrong with either way, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like naming can be great or difficult. I feel like it's like it either hits early,
Yeah.
or you go through months of like,
Yeah.
that's not right, that's not right, that's
For
not
sure.
right.
Yeah. And it's a gut feeling too. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I feel like people, when they're thinking of a business, underestimate that like gut feeling or what feels right or what do we like.
Yeah.
And so many businesses are trying to predict like, what does someone else like?
Right.
What is another generation like?
Sure.
What is a focus group going to like? But also, I guess you guys, because you have spaces, kind of have your own focus groups too. Like you have
absolutely.
your group who works with you, and then you have customers all the time giving you feedback.
So, yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, you can just kind of listen to people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And names, I mean, I don't know. You see a lot of names out there that are successful, and you're like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Become successful.
Yeah.
You know, so, I think it's just how you execute too, a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, this is like really exciting. So I think the best way for people to interact with you is probably just go to a brewery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Buy
the products out on the shelf.
Yeah.
Go to the brewery.
Yeah.
Hit us up on social media.
Yeah.
If you're looking for what we're doing, that kind of thing. So
try Porch.
Yeah.
Bring it to the lake.
Yeah.
And then this is our list. We have to try Porch.
Yeah.
We need to like celebrate Ghost Train being back.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
And come by All Good Collective.
That's it, and see what's going on. Yeah. And then we'll have more things popping off out of that. So.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen, and we record right here at Infomedia Studios. So if you're interested in doing a podcast, or even if you just want to come and record some podcasts-like shots so that you can share them on social media, we do that. We also do photo and video for websites and really any kind of digital collateral. So if you're interested, head to infomedia.com and fill out that contact form. We would love to have a conversation and see if we can help. You can find show notes about this week's topic at carrierollwagen.com and find me on social media pretty much anywhere at crollwagen. Our showrunner is Taylor Davis. Our outreach manager is Jen Tucker, and Elena Harmon is our promotions manager. So until next time, here's to thinking global by acting local and putting small shops before big box.